It is a really exciting day today because after a year and 2 weeks, we're finally getting my NSX back from the shop that it's been at. We got the truck ready to go. We got tires on the trailer. It is a busy day. So we're making the trip to Jersey. We're dropping off an AWE exhaust for a customer, my buddy Ron, and then we're going to my distribution center to exchange these tires because they sent me 35s instead of 37s. And then we're gonna go get the NSX after that. So it is quite a day ahead of us. It is a Friday too, so there's probably gonna be traffic, and there's rain expected in the forecast. And we're doing this solo. You guys wish me luck, and hopefully we make it back in one piece. Just stopped at Valvetronic Design to make the exhaust. Pennsylvania, we got a new A90 Super exhaust for a customer. Gonna be shipping that out to Michigan. Now it is finally time to go to our next distributor, 20 minutes away. We're gonna return those Toyo tires that are the wrong size. And then we're gonna go pick up the NSX. It's been a long day so far, and it's raining now, so kinda crappy. Just got it running, hearing it running for the first time in over a year. That's crazy. All new intercooler, new fuel lines, new injectors. Well, we just went on a road test as this NSX. We're gonna load it up on the trailer now. We're gonna get it home. Freaking tired out here. All right, we made it back home, guys. Just wanted to stop at a gas station to get some good lighting pictures. You can see that the paint is so bad on the NSX right now, so we're gonna have to get it fully detailed. But it's been raining all day. The car's disgusting, but it runs and drives much better than I expected without a real tune. And the Sequoia did really well too, you know, for a $3,000 truck, towing over 100K in the back. Pretty sketchy to say the least, but you know, the truck did actually a lot better than expected, and it's really smooth, comfortable too. Take a look at this beauty. Oh yeah, that looks good on the trailer. We've got a big day today. We got to ceramic coat these 1552 analog HDs for the Jeep, and then we have these for pickup. These are the 1552 podiums for an Audi S4. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get the NSX off the trailer because we can't technically park it here, and it's just putting load on the suspension on the truck right now. I should have jacked up the pole on the front of the trailer last night. Completely forgot to because it was like 3 a.m. by then, but still, that was only like 5 hours ago. But in the back of the truck, we got a ton of stock parts and old aftermarket parts that were on the car. So I got like 5 full boxes. This one, that one, and there's 3 more up front that has like my clutch and flywheel. But this is the old wiring harness and relays that were for the Motec. And here's that 20-something-year-old Motec I was telling you guys about. 2005 is when this thing, I guess, was tuned, and a whole bunch of stuff. I got some gauges in here. So I have innovative oil pressure and temp. I've got innovative air fuel ratio. So these are things I'm just going to be selling. If you guys need it, hit me up, give you a good price on it. This is my old input shaft. So when we changed it out to the JDM gear set, this was the US gear set. So here's like all my gears from the US. I think this is the first, the second. I can't grab it right now, but you guys can see it. Old ignition coils, because we went with Audi R8 coil packs. We got my old intercooler. This thing, water to air intercooler, pretty ancient. Apparently it wasn't that efficient because my intake temps were getting super high on the dyno last time. We got a completely new intercooler fabbed up, and it sits inside the engine bay now, away from the exhaust. Not sure if I can even sell this kind of stuff because people don't really modify NSXs to this kind of level. And clutch masters, flywheel, and twin disc clutch, $3,000 truck with the new stuff that I put onto it. And you can see I'm putting great use to it, you know. Picked up an exhaust, we got all my old parts back. Of course the battery is shot. Got it off the trailer, forgot to get it on video, but we're gonna try to jump start it now. Got her running, took a few tries, but cold start's not gonna be that great anyway. So, issues, speedo and the tach I don't think are working, and we couldn't figure it out. And then the Haltech's not displaying anything on the AEM dash. There you go. There you go. That's the new intercooler. It's right up there. Pretty sick. So we got another piece to the puzzle here. Figured out yesterday after plugging into the Haltech with the tuner, trying to get the cold start and the idle right, we noticed that the existing fuel pressure regulator, which has been on the car for like 20 years, probably has an issue with the diaphragm with the vacuum source. So we got an Aeromotive regulator kit, which comes with 3 fittings and the gauge, and you save about $50 when you buy the kit. So if you guys want to order it, it's also on our website. Here's the part number. Goes for just over $200, but if you use my code YouTube on the website, you'll get a nice little discount there. We have the regulator here. These are the inlets, and that's the return. They're all -6 ORB, so they're gonna go one on each side. I have like this tiny little bottle of oil that I use specifically for purposes like this. So just lubricate the O-rings a little bit because you don't want, you know, the O-ring to tear, and you want to have a good seal on it. You just tighten it down like that, and just get a wrench and torque it down until it doesn't turn no more. I like to use the yellow PTFE tape because this is actually meant for gas. There we go. So there's the old gauge, new gauge. This one is much heavier too. When we start threading, it's essentially going to stretch that tape through the threads and give you a nice seal. So to tighten this NPT fitting, we go about hand tight until you can't go anymore, like it is right now. And then we want to go usually 1 full turn to 2 turns with a wrench. Just to give you an update of the NSX, Jay from Streetworks Automotive came over yesterday all the way from Pennsylvania to continue working on the car because we did find several issues from when we picked up the car, and also to fix some things that he couldn't get to that night when I brought the car home. So most importantly, we had to fix the fuel pump wiring. It was overheating over here by the fuse box, and turns out it was an issue with how the relays over there were wired up. So we replaced that fuse and all the wiring associated with it, and it's no longer overheating. The other thing we also did, we changed out the fuel pressure regulator with the Aeromotive one, We set the fuel pressure at about 45 with the vacuum line disconnected. The alternator, this green plug here, had a wire that was incorrectly spliced into a different ignition source, so it was not turning off the alternator when the ignition was off, so that the alternator was actually pulling 3 amps from the battery with the car off, so it was killing the battery if it sat. And we had the battery disconnected from the tender last night, and with the green plug connected, the battery is still good on the car. So on the inside of the car, we could not figure out why the tachometer and the speedometer were not working. It very well might be the wrong wire plugged into the Haltech. I was looking last night. It needs to be, I think, on a digital pulse output 1 on the ECU for the tachometer to work. And right now it's wired into something else. So I'm gonna try and move that over to DPO1. DPO1 is actually being used for the boost solenoid right now. So with the Deutsch connectors, I can just pull them out and put one into the other and see if it does anything. And maybe if the tach works, the speedometer will also work. I'm not sure, but we pulled out the cluster yesterday and he tested the circuit, and the tachometer and the speedometer do work. So there's nothing wrong with like the capacitors inside the cluster. So I'm thinking it's just not receiving the correct signal from the ECU. The other good thing is that we got the digital display working. So you can see we have some numbers there. Except for the boost, we're not sure why it's just showing 14.8 PSI right now. It should be at 0 because there's no vacuum or boost. So that's the only sensor that's looking a little weird. But other than that, everything is great. I do need to replace the ignition switch on the key here. For some reason, when you turn the car on, the car likes to just turn back off, and it's because this is like a little twitchy. So you could see when I had it on ignition, it's not showing that the car is on, and then I have to kind of twitch it, and then the ignition turns on. And when I'm starting the car, I guess due to the vibrations of the car, it keeps turning off, and I have to start the car again. Because I don't want the car to be like shutting off on me for some reason while I'm driving. That would be very unsafe, and God forbid it just stops working altogether and we can't get the car running. And if we look in the back here, the firewall is all taken apart still. I have to put the panels back on. This terminal right here is, even when fully tightened, it does not want to stay on the battery. So we've got a whole new ground strap here. This is 2-gauge wire with some nice ring terminals. It just goes all the way back to the firewall. We got these nice ring terminals right here with the wing nuts. If we ever need to remove the negative terminal, we could just take the wing nut off instead of having to take the terminal on and off every single time. So we got the old strap out. Alright, we got the battery all situated now. Terminal is covered in some fluid film to protect it from oxidization. We have the heat exchanger tank bolted back down, and everything is good to go. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. Really annoying. Check out the new splash screen. Ho-ho, there it is. We're driving. All right, good news. We got the thing inspected. So we have the ugly new New York inspection stickers. Next year's gonna be blue, but this thing's already like 6 months past due. I can't wait till the end of the year. Check the engine bay, no leaks or anything, no weird smells that I can notice. We also spoke with Jay on the phone for a little bit. We got the speed working. It was my mistake when I changed the AFRs to the speed. I left this as AFR, and now I changed it to vehicle speed. Now it works perfectly. I had to calibrate it to the drivetrain sensor in here. So if I go to, I think, speed, look it up, vehicle speed, there we go. I had to change the main source to drivetrain, and then I drove to 40 miles per hour, and then I hit the calibrate button on the drivetrain sensor. So what that does, it calibrates the transmission speed to the Haltech. Now the display here on speed is exactly how I need it to be. I just tested it on the highway on Waze, and it was exactly correct. The other issue that we resolved, the gear ratio. So this before was not correct. It was like showing 5th gear when I was going 10 miles an hour. So I had to go back here, type in gear, and go to gear ratio. And then now this was actually pretty straightforward too. So you just drive around in 1st gear, hit calibrate, drive around 2nd gear, hit calibrate, so on and so forth for all 5 gears. And this will properly display the gear ratio based on engine speed and vehicle speed. So it's really cool that this is just basically reverse calculating the gear indicator without any sort of sensor in the transmission. So everything here is working except for the boost. That's still showing up weird because obviously we're not making 5 pounds of boost at idle, now 6 pounds of boost. And when I go here to diagnostics, you can see that the map is correct here. We're at -8-9 pounds, so that's vacuum, which should exactly show there. So maybe it's just a setting that's wrong in the AEM dash design, but that's really the last thing to figure out. The speedo and the tach still are not working, unfortunately, so that might need a little bit more tweaking around with the engine harness back there. The other thing that I actually forgot about was intake air temperature. So I think I don't need battery voltage at this point, or maybe I'll just get rid of the boost and put IATs there until we can figure it out. But I have a boost gauge here, so it's not like we need it there 100%. So if I can replace that with IATs for now, I think that would be very beneficial. That is the end of the NSX return video. We're gonna get it detailed next week. This thing is in need of a interior, exterior detail, paint correction, and we may even ceramic coat it at Ludensol. But this paint is so bad right now. I've been looking at some wide body kits for this car because I don't want to keep the narrow wheels in the front. They're like 18 by 8 plus 40 right now. I want to be able to run like an 18.9.5 in the front with a decent lip. So we're looking at the Pride carbon front fenders, the rear fenders. They're both 20mm wide bodies, and they also have a 02 to 05 style front bumper. that should be in stock in like 2-3 months. So I think I'm gonna do the front and rear wide body as well as the front bumper. We'll do some side skirts and put on like a nice spoiler and get it all paint matched to the car, and I think it's gonna look perfect. But I'm just trying to get like everything mechanically done to my satisfaction on this, because having a car that doesn't operate the way I want it to is like my biggest pet peeve, because like everything needs to work for me to be happy. The plan is to get this thing tuned in a week or two at Derek at Innovative Motorworks and see how much power this car makes. But ideally I just want this thing starting up, running, driving as stock as possible, and then when you get on it, it makes great power. We'll see you in the next one.